We believe in spiritual living. Above all else, it is a philosophy that urges us to focus on how to think and not what to think. It invites us to practice this philosophy and apply it to our lives right now by living with principles. Our relationship with God is a personal one. We believe that God is all that there is. Every person, place, or thing is not only an expression of God, but God itself. God is the absolute presence that not only creates, but is itself all things. All the love, peace, and beauty is in each of us as the presence of God right now. I know this of you, too. You are just as divine because God is within you as well. Together we are all connected as one. Our faith allows us to apply this philosophy to our lives in every moment of every day. As we live in love, we see love revealed and flowing through the world around us. We act as citizens of this spiritual community at all times. This is how we think. We believe in God, we believe in ourselves, and we believe in you because we believe in spiritual living.
Good morning, all you beautiful godlings, and welcome to our Sunday celebration right here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Beaumont. And wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are always welcome here, for all paths lead to just that one God. And so our December global theme is celebrating the divine truth, and the message is welcoming the shadow. Now we know that a shadow is produced when an object blocks light. And since we know that we are beings of love and light, whenever we block the light that is guiding our life's journey, we create a shadow. Psychologist Carl Jung has clearly defined shadow, and he says, a shadow is that which a human being would not want to be. It is that which a human being would not want to be. And so what this means is that the shadow is our own dark side. It is the negative side of the personality. It is the sum of all those unpleasant traits, that inferior, worthless, unworthy side of human nature that we want to hide from everyone. But it's there. Every person has a shadow. So, have you ever gotten cranky or grumpy over the smallest thing? That's your shadow side. Have you ever become reactionary and react with strong emotions before thinking it through? That's the shadow side. Or how about, have you ever been jealous or envious of someone and you're thinking all these negative thoughts about that person? And maybe your mind is even plotting wicked ways to make that person look bad. That's your shadow side. Or has anyone, or when someone hurts your feelings and you want to get even, and so you're plotting ways to make you look good and the other person look really bad. Meet your shadow side. Or how about this one? You're working with someone that you really, really don't like, but you must take direction from that person. And so you're thinking, who does she think she is, telling me I should do it a certain way? Do any of these examples sound familiar to you? Welcome to your shadow side. Now, during this pandemic, we see more of our shadow side. We are angry. We resist what is being imposed upon us to mitigate the spread of the coronavirus. We are fearful for our own lives, and we are uncertain of what's around the corner in a world that we are not familiar with. And that shadow side, those unpleasant traits, are making itself known more than ever. So then, why should we welcome the shadow side? Why should we welcome those unpleasant sides of ourselves? Because welcoming the shadow means becoming aware of it and its continuous presence, because whether you like it or not, it is a part of you. And what we call our shadow is really nothing more than an aspect of our human nature waiting to be embraced and reclaimed. But when we ignore the shadow part of ourselves, the darker and denser it gets, and it festers within until it suddenly erupts as aggression, and that gets ugly. So when a person denies their shadow side and doesn't think that it has some kind of impact on their consciousness, they will never experience a correction to welcome, embrace, and integrate it. So we must all consciously deal with our shadow and welcome it so we can correct it. We must become aware that it is our individual ego that has built up the burden of shadow in our human nature. And by recognizing the shadow, we can shift the negative perception and look beyond appearances and seek to align with the spiritual truth that we are beings of love and light. And by embracing and integrating the shadow with the source of light, now it doesn't block the light. Just like when the sun is overhead, the shadow disappears. Science of Mind teaches us, quote, "We are created in the likeness of God, perfect man, woman, perfect being. God is a light that dissolves darkness," end quote. So if the shadow blocks the light, and God is light that dissolves the darkness, let's talk about the light. And here is a quote from scriptures. From Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 through 3, it tells us, quote, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters, and God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light." End quote. Now we will probably never know the how or even the when of creation, but religion tries to answer mostly the why. What was God up to when it created the heavens and earth? Did God have a divine intention or a goal? And here's a quote from the many faith traditions that try to explain this. It says, "Everything that exists in material form is the offspring of some primal source which originally existed only as spirit," end quote. So therefore, this infinite primal source somehow poured itself into the finite visible forms, creating everything from rocks, water, plants, organisms, animals, and human beings. And that is what is meant by the incarnation of God in the visible world. So everything visible, without exception, is the outpouring of God, and this is referred to as the universal Christ, and Christ means divine. It is that universal divine that is in and through everything manifested. When God joined in unity with the physical universe and became the light inside of everything, that is why light is the subject of the first day of creation. So light is not so much what we directly see, but it is that by which you see everything, meaning that we see as God sees. Now here's an interesting fact. Scientists have discovered that what looks like darkness to the human eye is actually filled with tiny particles called neutrinos that are slivers of light that pass through the entire universe. Think about that. That is the light that flows in and through all creation. That light is God itself. So apparently, there is no such thing as total darkness anywhere, even though the human eye thinks that there is. And scriptures tell us that Christ, that universal Christ, is a light that darkness cannot overcome. And the hope for humankind is this: it is knowing that that inner light of things cannot be eliminated or destroyed. So the light of the Supreme Being that is within you and me and in everything in creation is that universal Christ. It is the divine itself. So when we welcome, embrace, and integrate our shadow side with that Christ light that is within, we are celebrating our divine truth. And we recognize our wholeness and our oneness with all that is, was, and ever will be. So the bottom line is this: love the whole of you, even those parts that may not be loving, and shine your light on the shadow, and the shadow disappears because it is now integrated with your light source. And so now let us pray. Let's just drop into our heart space and just let the words that you've just heard simmer and percolate within. And we clear the mind. And we focus only in that heart space, the place of that indwelling spirit, that sacred temple within. Knowing that that highest God, that innermost God, is just one God. And as we place our focus in that heart space, into that sacredness of the heart space, we recognize that we are love itself. We were created out of love, for love, to be love. And within the sacred space, within all of us, is the light of the Creator itself. And how good it feels to simply know that this is who and what you are. You are a being of love and light. And we become aware of this when we recognize that that highest God, that innermost God, is that one God that has breathed you into existence, that is sitting in your chair at home. And that is that divine that wears your shoes and wears your clothes, that is masquerading as you and me on this journey of life. Oh, how good it feels to know that this is the truth of who you are, and you can celebrate your divine truth. You are love, you are light. You are one with that I am presence that is in all things. And we are one with everything in creation. And because we are, we simply can go in and tap into that light that is within us and let that light shine bright, brighter than ever before. Let it go out. Let it give that light, the light of who you are. Share that light with everyone you meet. Let that light encircle the planet. Let your light make all the shadows disappear. And our human family truly needs your light now. And by focusing your light on everyone around the globe, you also ignite their light until it becomes just one light on an earth that is inhabited by beings of love and light. Oh, simply know this truth. Simply know that you have the power to do this just by pure intention. And let this be your spiritual practice the rest of this year. And so I give thanks. I give thanks for our time together. I give thanks for the spiritual sustenance that we were fed today to sustain us today and the days to come. And I speak my word into that perfect action of the law that says, yes, 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 it is done. And in sweet, sweet, sweet surrender, I just let it all go and I let God. And together, let us anchor and affirm this prayer by saying, and so it is. And I let it be so. Thank you for joining us this morning on our Sunday celebration. Namaste.
Thank you for participating in our service. You can do online giving by texting GIVE to 951-420-6909. You can visit our website at cslbeaumont.org and click the donate button at the bottom or the top of the screen. Or you can mail your donation to Center for Spiritual Living, 802 Maple Avenue, Beaumont, California, 92223. If you enjoyed this service and are watching on YouTube or Facebook, please like and share this video and add a comment on it. If you haven't already on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and hit the little notification bell to be updated when we post new content. For those on Zoom, visit our Facebook page to comment and share to help spread this message.